I'm Colin Fitz, and I'm here to find out what Harrison's choice really is. What do I mean? Well, every week we see what Marcus Harrison's choice is on the program. He goes around asking different people about their cars and showing them off. Well, this week we're going to ask him about his own personal choice. So follow me and we'll try and find out. Hello, mate.
Hello.
We've brought a little bit of a camera and a team here to check out your choice of car. Marcus, we've been seeing your choice of cars, the Harrison's choice of cars you'd like to own. And today we've come and surprised you because we'd like to find out about the cars that are also your choice, but are actually in your garage.
Okay.
So is it okay for you to take us around and show us?
It is, yeah, you're taking me by surprise, but you're always welcome, Cole.
Thank you, and I think it's worth it for our viewers. Shall we start with this one?
Yeah.
It's not a car, it's a motorbike.
It's definitely not a car.
But I think we can talk about these two beautiful machines as well.
I mean, it's a bit of a new passion for me, the old bikes. Yeah, so this is a Triumph 3TA, or 21, 1963, which is the best year. It's the year I was born. As I said, quite a new thing for me to get into the bikes. I've always liked motorcycles, but particularly like vintage bikes. This represents an era, obviously, that I identify with. I just think it's pretty. I think it's really beautiful.
It is a beautiful
and
colour.
It's a new acquisition.
And it's a Triumph. And of course, Triumph made cars and bikes.
Yes.
But there was a year when the company separated into two.
Yes.
Which was, I think, in the 1930s.
It was. It was. Yeah. It was actually founded by two Germans. People don't realise that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was actually.
Triumph, such a quintessentially British make, was originally founded by two Germans.
Yeah.
What about this one?
And this is an Ariel VB600. So that's a 350 twin, and this is a 600 single. This harks from 1953.
So it's older.
Much older design of bike, rigid frame. It doesn't have any suspension on the back. It's just it's a different design, different era. There's 10 years between the two of them. You've got the single saddle as against the twin seat. And I have, obviously the suspension is in the saddle because there's nothing on the back of that. They call this a rigid frame.
It looks like something out of World War II.
Yeah, it's very much, you have to remember that, I mean, after the war, it took a while for design to move forward and things to happen. So, yeah, it's got its roots in that. I mean, if you look at probably the biggest technological leap that this had was that it got telescopic front forks rather than the old girder spring type forks. But otherwise, from the forks back, that is pretty much the same as a wartime motorcycle, yeah.
Beautiful. So two motorbikes.
Yeah.
And now let's take a look at the cars.
Yeah.
So the first car in your garage collection, apart from all the model cars, you have quite an extensive collection of them, is a Jag. And it's a huge Jaguar, actually.
It is, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this model.
Well, this isn't mine, for a start off.
It's not yours?
Nope.
You stole it?
I did. This actually belongs to my partner. It was her father's car from new. So this has actually been in the family since 1967, and it was ordered locally from the local Jaguar dealer from Muscat's Motors. And it's had very little use. The car has still only covered 26,000 miles from new.
It does look pretty new inside and out. So it's one owner from new since
1967. 1967.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, one family owned, because obviously her father passed away.
Of course.
This car languished in the garage in Valletta for over 20 years, unused.
Wow.
So it took a little bit of recommissioning. It's had paintwork in its life. I mean, you know, hesitate to say it's completely original, but it's never been restored.
And your partner's father was quite a prominent figure, I understand, for him to have a car like this.
Yeah, he was from a, important family.
So I would assume that some people would actually recognize the car.
Yes, we do come across some certain generation who'll say, "Oh, the big gold Jag." They do remember, and they remember her father, and they always speak positively, which is nice.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is part of the furniture. This will never go anywhere. I have a tendency after 3 or 4 years, I change my cars around. Obviously, first of all, it's not mine to change, but this is going to be here, forever.
What does it drive like?
Really well, yeah.
For the
really
size?
Well, yeah, for the size of it. It's because the mileage is low, and we did do a lot of work on the suspension and the drivetrain. So everything's been renewed underneath. So it drives well. I mean, within the constraints of a 1960s car of this size, it's no sports car. Goes along the road really well. 4-speed manual with overdrive as well. So you have that extra
kind of fifth gear type of relaxed cruising.
Yeah.
And it's a manual.
And it's a manual.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's a lovely car. Lovely car.
And now, Marcus, this incredibly stylish grey machine. This is a Lancia.
It is.
And I don't think I've ever seen one like it in Malta before. It seems very rare to me. Tell us about it.
Okay, as far as I'm aware, there isn't another one. I think there are stories of one needing restoration, stashed in a garage somewhere, Lancia Flavia Coupe, Pininfarina Coupe, 1965-66.
Oh, so older than the Jag.
It's older than this one. Yeah, it's quite an unusual car because this was the first Italian car to be front-wheel drive. It was very avant-garde at its time, really. It was front-wheel drive, fuel injection. It was the very first Italian fuel-injected car as well. And it has an unusual engine configuration. It has a 4-cylinder boxer engine.
Oh.
Okay. This is the injection model, which is the rarest. Unfortunately, it's currently running on a Solex carburettor as the injection system was playing up. It's all in the workshop at the back, and one day will be restored and refitted to the car, but she runs beautifully as she is. Really belies its age. This is a car that drives as a much newer car than you would imagine.
Lancias tend to be like that, though, don't they? They were very advanced, which is also why they're very respected, apart from when people talk about the rust issues of the 70s. But in the UK, they have a massive following.
They do, yeah. And I mean, right up until 1969, it was an independent company. And quite honestly, they were over-engineered. And I think they needed to be saved by Fiat because they weren't profitable. So this is kind of one of the last of the true Lancias. I mean, that's always debatable, which is the last one. Having said that, you can't deride the Fiat ownership because without Fiat, we wouldn't have had fantastic cars like the Delta Integrale, the Stratos. These cars would never have happened.
The cars that came in the 70s.
Yeah, these were all under Fiat ownership.
Yes.
So really, the company, where the lines end is up for debate.
But this is the last in a long line of Lancias that you've owned over the years.
Yeah, I've owned many.
Because you've owned over 100 cars, I believe.
Yes, well over 100.
In your lifetime.
Yeah, it's rather troubling, isn't it?
Well, it's exciting for us petrol heads, I think. How many do you approximately, and do you remember them all?
I tried to sit and do a list.
Yeah.
And I ended up at around 140. And then I started remembering ones that I hadn't put in the list, and I gave up. But,
amazing.
It's just a passion.
Indeed.
And of course, you have to remember when I owned those cars, I was living in the UK. And it's so much easier. Cars are much more accessible. They tend to be considerably cheaper. I didn't own expensive cars. And these vehicles, you have space. So you can annoy the neighbours by piling them up on your driveway and on the streets, which I did frequently. But
they weren't all classics.
No.
But they do count for the over 140 cars. So this Lancia, is this your ultimate car? Is this the car you've always wanted since you were a child?
Actually, no.
Oh, you're going to show us another car then?
This, I mean, I love the brand. I mean, you know, when I get to an age where I can't keep cars anymore, I can't keep them in the condition I like, for sure, I'm going to end up with one car. And there's a very high chance that car's going to be a Lancia. The way I came about this car, I was at the Automoto d'Epoca in
The big show up
in Bologna.
Bologna, yeah?
I was actually looking for a car at the time, and you know, my mind was spinning around from mark to mark. What do I get? Where am I going to be? And a friend of mine who was also at the show said, "Marcus, you need to get to this other hall and see this Flavia that's on the stand." And that was it. The moment I saw it, I saw the colour, the combination. I loved the look of it. Hastily sent some photographs back to the missus, you know, and said, "Look, what do you think of this?" Got the green light, which is the most important thing. And then the car became mine. So, you know, I have no intentions, and I say this with every car I get. I actually have no intentions now of getting rid of this. Normally I keep cars 3 to 4 years, but I think it's very, very special.
This is a keeper.
I'd love it to be. Whether I'm disciplined enough to do that or not, I don't know. Time will tell.
But now we can move on to the third classic in your garage, which I believe has a very special place in your heart.
Yeah.
And it's also a very rare car.
This, you know, I'm the first to admit it's a bit of a Marmite car. Some people like their curvy classics. This definitely isn't one of them.
It's a Fiat.
It's a Fiat, and it's a very special Fiat. They made around 4,000 of them. It was, quite honestly, a bit of a commercial failure. It was furiously expensive for its time. This car was almost twice the price of a V12 Jaguar XJ12 at the time.
It's a Fiat
130 Coupe.
130 Coupe.
Yeah.
And from what year?
1971.
Okay. So in just a few years, you went from very curvy Lancia, this style, to this very 70s right angle type of machine.
Well, this Jaguar and this car are less than 4 years apart.
Amazing.
You know, this was entering into the 70s with this look to the chiseled edge, modernist car. And this was still something, you know, this was harking back to an earlier era.
Indeed.
So there was a big change. And in fact, today, many people who, you know, when they see the car, the immediate assumption is that it's late 70s, early 80s in its design, forgetting that really this was drawn in the late 60s. So, and it was done by a Paolo Martin from Pininfarina.
Oh.
Who?
So it's got pedigree.
He penned some amazing cars. As I say, commercially it was a failure because it was just too expensive for something to be running a Fiat badge.
And there was a saloon version of this car,
It looked completely different. It was like a large Fiat 125. It was a handsome car, but this was something very, very different. And for me personally, I first came across one of these when I was living in the UK. I was, I don't know, 20 something or another. My father had, amazingly for my father, God rest his soul, had said, "Here's an amount of money, son. Go and buy yourself a car to get yourself to work and back."
Right.
That was, for me, child in a sweet shop. Off I set, and along the area where I used to live was a main road to London that was just full of car dealerships. So I set off on a mission, trying to be sensible, looking at Escorts and Fiestas and sensible cars to go to work. And on one of the forecourts was one of these. And I had never seen anything like it. You have to sort of rewind and imagine what it would have been like for a 20-something-year-old who was used to, let's say, mundane cars, but normal cars, suddenly stumbling upon something like this. It looked so exotic. And it was within the price that my father had pledged. So that was it. Ran home.
You bought one of these?
No, I
when
didn't,
you were 20?
because obviously I then managed to prize him out the house and said, "Come and have a look."
You nearly bought one of these at age 20.
I said to him, "It's a Fiat, Dad." And he was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." Off we went. Arrived at the dealership. He took one look at it, and he was quite right, obviously. He said, "Are you an idiot?" He said, "I've produced a fool." And he just turned heel and walked away. And that was the end of my Fiat 130 Coupe dream.
So he wasn't
I would never have been able to insure it. I would never have been able.
It was too much of a car for someone.
Crazy. It would have been crazy.
Okay.
I mean, these things have got a 3.2 litre V6. A 20-year-old in the UK trying to insure one of those would have been impossible.
And since you mentioned the engine, I believe the engine has also been used in other applications, other cars as well.
No,
Hasn't it?
no, no. It's very, very closely related to the Ferrari Dino.
So this, I believe this car's engine, once you mentioned the engine, is quite special. Isn't there a Ferrari connection?
Loosely, very, very loosely. It has a very similar architecture to the Dino engine. So yeah, it has tremendous pedigree.
Absolutely. Now, you were 20 and you wanted to have this car, but you couldn't get it. And then you went into your spree of buying 140 cars over your lifetime until you reached middle age and you got the opportunity to fulfill your 20-year-old desire.
Exactly. Opportunities come around because there are so many factors. You have to have space, where you are in your life, be able to fund it. And I went on a few failed missions to Italy to try and find one, and I was always disappointed. These things rusted like there was no tomorrow. So to find a good one is not the easiest thing. So I had a couple of failed missions, and then you were with me, in fact. How long have I had this? 3 years now, something like that.
It was the COVID.
It was during COVID, yeah.
Yes.
And I couldn't travel to see it. One of my friends, I had a Lancia Fulvia, made an offer on the car, and I said, let me think. When that happens, you know, being a car guy, you start looking at the internet and seeing what I could buy. And it doesn't take long for me to start looking for one of these. This one came up in Padova. And what I hadn't mentioned before, the car that I couldn't get was silver with this crazy reddish orange velour interior. So I wanted to replicate the car I couldn't have, and there it was, advertised in Padova. As I say, you were with me, and without going to see it because we couldn't travel, after long conversations with the dealer, I took a chance.
And pictures exchanged.
And I remember we were sitting, weren't we, having a coffee?
Indeed.
And I just rang up the guy who wanted the Lancia, and I said to him, you want it? He said, yes. I said, it's yours. And I rang up the dealer and I said, I'm going to send you a deposit now. A week later, it was here, and I was not disappointed. In fact, he downplayed the car, so I was very, very happy. So again, you know, a bit like the Lancia, it's going to take a lot for me to part with it. So I'm in a position now where maybe if I could squeeze another car in here, because I don't have the space. I really don't want to get rid of these cars. So maybe this is the point. This is the turning point for Harrison. Maybe this is the time where this can't go anywhere. I don't want these to go.
But this could possibly be Marcus's, or rather Harrison's, ultimate choice.
Yes. Probably the Alpha will go at some point, and there's a space there. So watch this space. Something else could come in.
And you've got your two bikes.
Yeah, but they don't take up any room. So when the Alpha goes, yeah, there could be something else coming there. Watch this space. But otherwise, I'm pretty full. And I'm getting distracted because Oliver's actually making signs in the background there, telling me I could go upwards.
Yeah, lifts or shelves, you know, like...
Moving on.
Let's not tempt you.
No, okay. Moving on. No, I think this might be it. And as I say, when I get to an age where it becomes too much for me to keep them, I am a little bit OCD. I do like them to a certain level. Maybe I'll consolidate, maybe they'll go and I'll just buy one dream car and use the rest of the garage for something else, you know, as I get older. Let's see what happens.
So, Marcus Harrison, it's been a great pleasure for me to find out your choice of cars for your own garage.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you very much.
Very nice choice.